Welcome to Find Your Lady Tribe. My name is Brenda.
And I am Michelle.
And it's our mission to build a community of lady tribes, a place to connect and grow your tribe with resources, ideas, workshops, retreats, and events. We invite you to join our inner circle and become a tribe leader.
It's free! Each week, we will start a conversation about connecting within your tribe and across all of our tribes. Our goal is to create 1,000 new lady tribes in 2022, and each episode will challenge you with a call to action. The first one is to join our inner circle. Go to tinyurl.com/myladytribe. And as a gratitude gift, we will send you a downloadable copy of Chapter 1 of Lady and the Tribe, The Awakening.
Yay! So please subscribe to be notified of a new episode each week.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you for joining Find Your Lady Tribe. Today, Brenda and I have a wonderful gift of getting to interview with an expert. Bracha Goetz is with us today, and Bracha is a Harvard-educated well-being expert and the author of 40 books that help children's souls shine. She's also the author of a candid memoir about overcoming food addictions joyfully and the spiritual journey back to her own roots. I can't wait to hear about all of these things with you, Bracha. So thank you for joining us and welcome.
Thank you. Very, very happy to be here.
Bracha, first of all, you got to share with us Harvard graduate, children's books. Tell.
Yeah, right. People always, they expect a Harvard grad to be writing like these real intellectual books, Truthfully, my books are about wisdom, but I try to distill the wisdom into the most simple form possible. That's what I love to do. That's what I'm all about. I distill it down, and then I express that simplicity to children in a very joyful way. The topics are deep, really complex, sometimes controversial, but that's my joy, expressing it to children in a delightful way that they can absorb.
Yeah, well, it sounds really
and
intriguing.
Also, I just want to say it's so that they don't have to play catch up for the rest of their lives. If they gain the skills and the wisdom early on in life, then all throughout life they'll be able to take those skills with them. Yeah.
Where were you 40 years ago when I could use this?
And I better get reading.
we better start reading. So it sounds like an awesome thing. We'll give you everybody information on how to find you in a little bit. But the reason we're talking today, we're all about, building a tribe of support in your life. And foundationally speaking, we need to first be a friend to ourselves and take care of ourselves so that we can better know what we're looking for in a tribe and support each other. So I think, and maybe it has something to do with your memoir, tell us just a little bit about you, and we'll just kind of go from there. I think I just primed the pump a little bit.
Okay, great. Yeah, well, when I graduated from Harvard, then I went on to medical school for 1 year. The summer between my first and second year of medical school, I had a 6-week break. I ended up going to Israel, and I came back 10 years later. What happened there? I made a huge detour in my life. I went on a whole different path because even though I looked like I was on this successful path on the outside, I was suffering inwardly. And when I was at Harvard, I was doing all this research, and I became like an expert about eating disorders for women and things. Meanwhile, I was suffering myself and suffering more and more. I was actually getting sicker and sicker. as I was progressing in this research.
Mm.
So intellectually understanding it was certainly not enough. That's not what helps a person to overcome addictions. It's not enough. So by the time I was in medical school, I was at the lowest point, really, in that food addiction, doing bizarre behaviors, which of course, when a person has an addiction, they're doing it secretly in private. So nobody knows, what you're doing. And like in my memoir, I disclosed like the most candid raw parts of what I was doing. People that know me, that read the book, they're like, how could you write such things? They never knew these things about me. It was much better when other people started reading the book, not the people that knew me, because then it's not as embarrassing. But I went through the embarrassment because it's worth it to help people, to show people. See, the book is like a case study. It's my diary entries, my journals, letters home, and then I filled in the missing pieces so you can actually see me developing the food addictions for real and then overcoming them. And putting it together is how I saw the thread. How was I able to overcome the food addictions when I finally was able to nourish my hungry soul? Yeah.
Yeah, and I just think that's fascinating because I know that when we have visited before, you talk about a lack mindset or not enough mindset, and I admit that sometimes I eat not because I'm hungry. I eat because it, I don't know, just feels good, and I know I shouldn't be doing it. So in that way, it feels really bad. But I do feel, I don't know really what is driving it, but I do feel a little bit of a sense of not enough sometimes. And so maybe your research and experience can shed some light on that.
Right, that's exactly it. Why do we overeat? We overeat because we want the pleasure, the immediate pleasure that we're experiencing, and food is the easiest thing to bring immediate pleasure. So we want that pleasure to keep lasting. So we overeat. If we're not feeling enough fulfillment in the rest of our lives, that's what we do, or it could be a different addiction. An addiction is a compulsive behavior that we do despite the harmful consequences. We keep doing it even though we see that it's harming us. That's when we have an addiction. So basically, the emptier a person feels inside, the more they try to fill it with externalities. And so that was the discovery I made, that it wasn't my body that was hungry. And some people call it emotional eating, but it's even deeper than that. It's our souls that are hungry. It's a whole different thing. We can't fill a spiritual hole with a physical thing. Well, in a way we can, but only by spiritually uplifting ourselves as well. In other words, okay, if we eat an orange, it nourishes us physically, but it also has the potential. It was designed to also uplift us spiritually, because let's say we mindfully eat this and we notice it's orange. It becomes this bright color. When it's ripe and ready, it starts calling to us from the tree, I'm ready. So yeah, before that, it's green, it's camouflaged in, but it turns, the fruit turn the bright colors when they're ready for us to eat them. That's how, so they're the most attractive, and it's got this peel. It keeps the juiciness in for months. It's amazing. Like, this is how we got the idea of individually packaging things,
Right.
but the wrappers of the junk food, they just pollute the environment. Here, this peel, it helps to cultivate. It's a fertilizer. It's unbelievable. And then inside, are the pits of infinity. They go on forever to replicate itself. These pits have like what kind of a computer program in them to regenerate? It's such wisdom, and that's just in one orange, you know? So like when we experience things like our breath, like being in nature, like movement, like dance, it has the potential to spiritually uplift us as well as physically uplift us if we do it with gratitude. That's what changes everything, mindful gratitude.
So Bracha, even, correct me if I'm wrong, but I have heard it said before that even if you're going to partake in like junk food or something that's not necessarily, you know, an orange or an apple, not necessarily great, but if you are there with it and present and enjoying the heck out of it and you know, it's taking out in all the goodness that it may have, that it really can even interact with your system differently than if you just mindlessly pile it in.
Yes, for sure. Like I don't know about the bag of potato chips or the whole box of chocolate chip cookies that we keep eating. Those things are not designed with infinite loving kindness and intelligence. The junk food is designed to be delicious and addictive.
Mhm.
And these foods are designed to be delicious and nutritious. So they're like completely different kind of things. I read recently that the junk food has more in common with cigarettes and cocaine than it does with an apple or an orange. You know, it's designed completely differently. The nutrients are taken out of the natural things, and abnormal, unnatural amounts of oil and salt and sugar are put in that are not found in nature. They're chemically designed in the lab to be addictive. When it hits our brain, it's like, oh my gosh, what did I just get? You know, but the body doesn't know how to absorb it. In fact, the newest children's book that I wrote, it explains to children, let's stay healthy, how the junk food actually takes out the nutrients from our bodies because it doesn't know how to, our bodies don't know how to absorb this strange stuff, you know, that was designed in a lab to be addictive. So it harms us. No big deal if we eat junk food once in a while. But if we do it chronically as a habit, that's what causes chronic illness, causes chronic inflammation, and then it causes chronic illness, right?
I love the way you say that. And that's it hits home in a big way. So how Bracha, do we feed our hungry souls so that we don't?
I love it.
That?
I love it. What did you say at the end? I interrupted you.
So we don't blow it and reach for the junk.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is what changed my life that summer. It put me on this whole different path, was the recognition. I was always trying to figure out what's the purpose to life. That was what I couldn't figure out. That's why the world turned gray for me, because morals didn't matter. Nothing mattered. I didn't get, there's no purpose. What am I doing here? Here I wanted to become a psychiatrist. I wanted to help my patients. I didn't even know why life was worth living myself, you know? And I would say, we get up every day. Why do we get up every day? To go to work, to make money, to buy food, to go to work, to make money, to buy, what's this all for, you know? So that summer, I learned from a rabbi, it's ancient mystical wisdom, is that the purpose of life is to experience the greatest pleasure possible. This blew me away. It was not what I expected, but what is the greatest pleasure possible are the spiritual pleasures, because in essence, we're all spiritual beings. We look like we're physical, and that's part of the trick, because it's hidden. It's hidden that we're spiritual. That's what we need to discover. that's what I love helping children discover early on too, that that our essence is spiritual. So in order to have pleasure in life, there is this ancient pleasure ladder with 5 rungs. The lowest level are all the physical pleasures that were designed to bring us pleasure. Again, like we mentioned, the being in nature, moving our bodies, music, all these things, they uplift our bodies and our souls, and all the 5 levels, they correspond to the 5 levels of the human soul. So this is universal. The lowest level of the soul is the part that's connected to our body. So all the physical pleasures can nourish both our bodies and our souls. The next level up is love. Now, love, this ancient definition is not waiting for someone to come into your life. It's you focusing on the virtues of another. What do you appreciate about someone? A person in jail can think of a grandmother that once did a kindness for them, and they have this warm emotional feeling of love that flows all over, and it encourages them it uplifts them. So that's love that we can bring into our lives at any moment. It's totally empowering. We can bring the gratitude for another thing, a physical, natural thing into our life at any moment. We can bring in love, appreciating another being into our lives at any moment. And the middle level, the third level up is meaning. Doing something meaningful and good, doing something positive in the world. You see that each level up brings a wider circle of connection. First to a thing, to a being, to the community, giving. An even higher level of connection is creativity, putting a unique part of ourselves into the world. It's an even deeper connection when we don't feel like eating or sleeping. We're in such a high zone of creativity. Yeah. And the highest level of all is transcendence. We transcend the limitations. We lift up the veils between us. We see how we're all connected. We all share the same energy. It keeps being, it's recycled, and the vegetation is giving us life. We're giving vegetation life. We're all sharing it because, we're all spiritually connected to each other. We're all here for a purpose, to help each other. So, and it's when we transcend our limitations. It's when we break through a bad habit, break through an addiction. It's the ultimate connection. So all of these pleasures are available to us at any moment. And the price we have to pay to climb each rung on the pleasure ladder is just one thing. That's gratitude. That's gratitude. That mindful gratitude is what gets us to acknowledge, appreciate the loving kindness in this world, the ultimate intelligence, the infinite intelligence, and how we all have that within us. Each of us has a part of that. So it's recognizing the goodness in all of us and in the whole design of the universe.
Awesome. So Bracha, tell me, when one gets to a point where you just kind of feel an emptiness and you just kind of want to graze and fill that need right now, and feeling kind of lazy, not really wanting to do anything about it, but what can people do, in an instant to facilitate stopping that pattern?
Excellent. Okay, I want to give 3 really easy tips. You can put them on your fridge, your cupboard, wherever, One thing is just asking yourself this question: is it my body that's hungry or my soul? Now you know how to feed your hungry soul. Now you've got now you've got this pleasure ladder, okay? So you know exactly. And on each level, it's abundant. It's infinitely abundant. that, like you were saying, it's the scarcity. We have a sense of scarcity. There's not enough pleasure in my life right now, so I better keep eating, And when we recognize there's an abundance of things to do, when we ask the question, is it my body that's hungry or my soul? The neurons that are firing back here in the amygdala, the fight or flight neurons, they're wildly firing. I need food. I got to keep eating. Then you ask the question, is it my body that's hungry or my soul? And suddenly the neurons, they start traveling up to here, the prefrontal cortex, and you're thinking that question. That changes everything. Just the question itself changes it. You could open the window, you can let in the air, you could feel the breeze, you could step outside, you could turn on the music, you could get up and stretch, you could text somebody and just leave them a message about what you appreciate about them. You could do any of those things, and suddenly the whole bag of potato chips stops calling your name so loudly. It stops right then. You don't hear it anymore. It's like amazing. And as you keep doing it, it becomes a habit. You just start asking that question, and you bring greater pleasures into your life. Overcoming an addiction. Oh, there's a great line. An addiction is giving up everything for one thing. And recovery is giving up that one thing for everything. You get everything back.
Wow, that is huge. That is an amazing quote. Can you repeat that, please?
Yeah. You're in a prison, an addiction. That's what it feels like. That's what it felt like to me, An addiction is giving up everything for one thing. Recovery is giving up one thing for everything. You get back everything. So another tip is, you say, if I eat like 95 more pieces of this, will I then feel full? And the answer, that it won't help. That's the real answer, because if I have a little more, just a little more, and it doesn't do it. There was, I was on another show, and the host was saying that he finished 2 slices of pizza, he's eating it, and he was about to plow through the whole rest of the box, and there's a knock on the door. It's his neighbor needs help with something. He helps him, he comes back. A few minutes later, he goes, I don't need the rest of this pizza. I could put it away in the fridge, the whole rest of it, He just did something meaningful. He realized, I feel full now in life, But as we recognize how this works, that's all it's about. We were created in order to live in this garden and to have gratitude for all we have. We've just gone far away from that. We don't live in harmony with the garden anymore, And the more that we come back to harmony, the more we can fill our lives with pleasure. So recognizing this pleasure ladder is very helpful. And the third thing I want to mention, a tip, is I just started this recently. I didn't do this until I just read an article about this and I tried it out, is chewing slowly. So you don't prepare the next spoonful or forkful of food until you've completely swallowed what's in your mouth. And when I read this, I figured, I probably do this already, but I surely wasn't. It's so different. It's really boring. The first time you try it, it is so boring. Because you can't get your next forkful ready, and you're sitting there just chewing. And it's like, what are you going to do with yourself while you're just chewing? So then you have gratitude. You have time to actually experience what you're eating, to savor the flavor, to feel gratitude for this amazing thing, it doesn't just go through you. And really the pleasure just lasts this long. That's it. Once it's down your throat, you're not experiencing the pleasure from the food. So you sit there. It takes me now so long to eat an orange, but I really I really find it like a really holy, uplifting experience. It's like you're filled with so much joy. It's amazing. So if you try this out, I was never doing it before. Now I eat this way normally. I don't fill the next spoonful up until I've completely swallowed it. And it's like a whole different experience. So I recommend all these things as just really basic techniques to, you'll notice that this extends, you know how like when you practice yoga, your life, what the wisdom that you learn on the yoga mat extends beyond the mat. The same thing happens here, because you don't want to chew the next bite of life yet. You want to take it slowly and you absorb it and you savor everything in life more. It kind of carries over once you adopt that habit in life.
Yeah, when you think about it, I mean, eating is very much a social thing for me anyway. I mean, I tend to overeat a little when I'm socializing, but it is because it's part of the fun. And but if you really do make it more mindful and savor each bite, you can have it all that way. You enjoy the food, but you also appreciating and being mindful. So that's a really great tip.
True. And also with social eating, you people tend to just keep eating way beyond when they're full. So the thing is to just, when you recognize that, just start focusing on the other people. You don't have to be stuffing your face while you're you could actually focus more on the relationships and the connection more. You know, it's really amazing. Sometimes when we're in uncomfortable situations at a social setting, we tend to eat even more. And then it's even better. Like find someone lonely, find someone that doesn't seem to be interacting. It's a chance to reach out and bring more connection. So yeah, and increase your tribe. You know, that's really what it is. So it's not, you know, food is just one pleasure. There's an abundance of other pleasures too. Yeah.
I love it. So we love to give our listeners a takeaway, a little homework assignment. And you've already given us a great list of things to try, but if you had just 2 or 3 things, just do this for the next week or 2 and see what happens, what would those be?
So basically it's about creating a new neural connection. In other words, we want to jump out of that loop. When we're in that loop of just stuffing our faces, how do we jump out of the loop? That's it. We create a new neural connection right here. The first time you do it, it's hard, but it becomes so easy after a while, and it's a pleasure. That's the thing. The idea is not to add more restrictions into your life. It's to add more pleasure into your life. That's why all the diets, they can't work for long. That's why there's so much yo-yo dieting, because we can't keep restricting ourselves. We were meant for pleasure. We're here to experience pleasure, you know? So that's it. Is it my body that's hungry or my soul? And then you could feed your soul. The funny thing is, you don't even have to do the thing. Just thinking that question changes it, and it's no longer calling your name in that same loud voice. Once you ask the question, you put the power back with you, you know, and you're making the choices of what you want to do to bring pleasure into your life. And it can be as easy as stepping outside or opening a window or just thinking about doing it. Helps you to recognize again the abundance and not have that sense of scarcity. The problem with the addictive foods is that it is hard to stop. They were designed to be that way. Like, you're not going to eat a whole bag of oranges. It's not designed that way. You know, it has like the fiber content in it, which the junk food has removed. So it doesn't fill you in the same way. That, and then the third thing was, again, the chewing slowly idea, which is, it's a very interesting experiment to try out and see what happens. Yeah.
I'm going to do that. Well, those are great tips. Thanks, Bracha. I appreciate it so much. How do our followers here find you? How do they find your books?
My my youngest children just created this website for my books. So it helps them if you go to their website. It's really their business, because I don't like selling books. I'm not a business person. So they took this on and I love it. So if you go to the getzbookshop.com, you see how to spell my name, getzbookshop.com, and you get my books, and you can get them through Amazon, through the website, and find them there. Yeah.
Awesome. We'll make sure all of your links are in the description below. So if you're looking to find Bracha's books, or you want to connect with her in any way, we'll have all that connection there for you. So one last question for you though, Bracha, before we let you go. How do you tribe?
Yes, I have such, I'm glad you told me this in advance. I have such, really, I got the best answer. I'm telling you, this is so awesome. I found this quote that I love so much, okay? How do you tribe? Love is learning the song in another's heart and singing it to that person when your friend forgets it. I just love that. I got to say, wait, love is learning the song in another's heart and singing it to that person when your friend forgets it. That's really it. It's acknowledging that light within them, you know, that infinite cosmic light that's a part of everybody. It's bringing it out. And I got to say that you are doing that. That's what your show is all about. And that's why I'm so happy to come on here, just to be a part of increasing the tribe through connection, through bringing out the gifts in each person. And thank you.
Oh, it's been our pleasure.
So nice to meet you.
It's been so wonderful to have you, and we're so just honored that you took the time to spend with us and our viewers today.
Mhm.
And
Bracha, I just want to thank you for your memoir. Thank you for the children's books. Thank you for these simple messages that you have fed my soul. Thank you.
Oh, wow, Michelle, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
well, we love you, and we always sign off
By saying,
when 3 or more gather, we are tribe.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.